What's up, everybody? This is Big Sarge back with another video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about if you should join the U.S. Army straight out of high school. So let's get into it. All right, so you're getting close to high school graduation, or maybe you just walked across the stage, and the big question is looming. Exactly what is next? Are you going to college? Are you getting a job? Are you taking a gap year? Or are you doing something different? So, if you're like a lot of students out there, the idea of going to college right away might not feel right. Maybe the thought of sitting in more classrooms doesn't excite you, or maybe you're unsure how you'd even pay for it. Now, that's where the U.S. Army could come in. And before you roll your eyes and think, the Army, that's not for me, well, let's go ahead and have a conversation. There's a reason thousands of people choose to enlist right after high school every single year. It's not just about boot camp and camo. There's way more to it than that. So, in this video, we're going to talk about why joining the Army straight out of high school might be one of the smartest, boldest, and most rewarding moves that you could ever make for your life. All right, so reason number one, you start building your life sooner than everybody else. So while your friends are out there just starting college classes or they're figuring out their part-time jobs, you're getting paid, earning real-world skills, and building a solid foundation for your future. You don't just sit in the classroom, you train, grow, and get ahead. And by the time you're 22 years old, you could have already had 4 years of military experience. You could have saved up thousands of dollars. You could have already been debt-free, unlike your friends who are going to be drowning in student loans. And you could even be halfway to retirement benefits. It's a head start on life that very few people get. So that's something to think about right there. Another reason is you get paid from day one. So let's be real. Money matters. The Army pays you from the moment you step into basic training. You get base pay, housing allowance if you live off post, free meals or a meal allowance, and you get health care. And you also get access to discounts and military perks pretty much everywhere. Even at the lowest enlisted rank, your total compensation is way more than most minimum wage jobs. And it only goes up with time, promotions, and special duty assignments. And not to mention, many jobs in the Army, they come with signing bonuses, or some can be as high as $50,000. Another reason you should consider joining out of high school is full college tuition is covered now or later. So you probably heard this one, but let's break it down clearly. The post 9/11 GI Bill is one of the best educational benefits in the country. It covers 100% of tuition and fees at public colleges. It also covers housing allowances while you're in school. You get money for books and supplies, and it can even be transferred to your kids or spouse if you have one of those out there. And you can also use what is called tuition assistance while you're still in the Army. And then there are programs like Army Cool that pay for certifications and licenses. So whether you want to go to school after your service, during or later in life, all of that could be paid for. No student loans, no debt. You just have options. Another reason you should consider joining out of high school is you'll learn job skills that actually matter. So forget flipping burgers or stocking shelves. In the Army, you get trained in real world professions from day one. And depending upon your MOS or your Army job, you can gain experience in fields like cybersecurity, networking and IT, healthcare and combat medicine, logistics and supply chain management, aviation maintenance, engineering, mechanics, criminal investigation, intelligence and linguistics, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And all of these are transferable to civilian careers. And best of all, you don't pay for any of the training. You get paid to learn it. Another benefit, you get to travel the world for free. So if you want to see more than just your hometown, then the Army's got you. Now, you could be stationed in places like Germany, South Korea, Italy, Hawaii, and Japan, or you can travel to dozens of other countries during deployments, joint exercises, or humanitarian missions. Now, for some people, this will be the first time they've ever been on an airplane. For others, it's a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. Either way, you're traveling on the government's dime. Another benefit you should think about is getting free health care. Now, this is a big one. So while your civilian friends are figuring out how to afford health insurance, dental, and prescriptions, you'll have access to TRICARE, which is one of the best healthcare plans in the country. And that means there are no monthly premiums, no surprise ER bills, and no high-cost prescriptions. You also get dental care, mental health services, physical therapy, eye exams, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And if you stay in for 20 years and retire, you can keep those benefits for life. Another reason you should consider joining straight out of high school is you will mature faster and people will notice it. So here's the truth: the Army will grow you up, and it will grow you up pretty fast. You're going to learn how to wake up early and take care of your body. You're going to follow through on responsibilities. You're going to lead others and take orders. You're going to communicate under pressure, and you're going to solve problems in the real world. Now, that type of discipline and maturity does stand out, and employers do notice it. Professors, they notice it. Even your family will notice it. Now, by the time you come back home for your first visit, people will see a change in you, and most of the time, they will be impressed. Another benefit is getting a brotherhood or a sisterhood to form lifelong connections. Now, this one's hard to explain unless you have lived it. There's something different about the friendships you form in the Army. Whether you're sweating through field training, getting smoked by your drill sergeant, or deployed halfway across the world, you will bond with your people. The camaraderie is real. The friendships are deep. And even years after you get out, those bonds often last for life. And for many soldiers, the Army becomes more than a job. It essentially becomes a family. Another reason you should consider joining out of high school is you can still be creative and express yourself. So there is a common myth that joining the military means you're going to lose who you are. That is not true. Sure, there is structure. Sure, you will wear a uniform and you will follow orders, but the Army is made up of people from all walks of life. You have musicians and gamers, poets and coders, athletes and artists, city kids, farm kids, suburban kids, and yes, people of all backgrounds, beliefs, and identities. There's a place for individuality and diversity in today's Army, and chances are you will find people just like you and very different from you all in the same unit. Another reason is you're setting yourself up for a powerful future. So whether you stay in for 3 years or 20, the Army opens up doors and you'll leave with real world experience, professional certifications, money for college or trade school, a strong resume, a solid network, and a renewed sense of confidence. And you might continue your career in the government. Some of y'all might go to law enforcement. You might open up a business, go into cybersecurity, healthcare, aviation, or maybe you will use your GI Bill and start your own company. Now, whatever the path that you choose after, you will be better prepared than most 22-year-olds in the civilian world. Also, let's talk about the retirement benefits that most people can only dream of. So let's say that you love the Army and you stick with it for 20 years. This means that you could retire at the age of 38 or 39 years old. You will be collecting a pension for the rest of your life. You will be able to keep your health care, and you can go on to start a second career and double dip on your income. So this is a long-term benefit that most people never think about at the age of 18. But it is real, and thousands of retired soldiers are living proof. Now, some of you might still be wondering, what if I'm not in shape? Well, don't sweat it. You don't need to be a bodybuilder to join. You just need to meet basic fitness standards, and there are prep programs to help you get there. And once you get the basic training, your drill sergeants, they will push you, and you will get in extremely great shape. Another thing you might be wondering, what if I don't want to go to war? Well, not everyone who joins the Army goes to combat. There are hundreds of support jobs like in IT, medical, logistics, intelligence, and much more. Plus, the world has changed a lot, so not every deployment is combat focused. Another question is, what if I want to go to college later? Well, that's perfect because that's what the GI Bill is for. Some soldiers, they can even go to school while they are serving using tuition assistance, so you can walk away with zero debt and a degree. Another question some people ask is, will I lose touch with my friends and family? Now, it's true, you will be away from home for a while, but between leave days, video calls, and social media, you'll always be connected. And honestly, your family will probably be super proud of the person that you're becoming. And then some of you might be wondering, what if I'm not sure about doing a full career? Now, that's totally fine. You can enlist for as little as 3 or 4 years. You can gain valuable experience during that time, and then you can decide later. No one is locking you in for life unless you choose to do so at your own free will and accord. So, should you join the Army right after high school? So, let's be real. It's not the right choice for everyone. The Army is tough. Basic training will challenge you. You will have to grow up fast, follow orders, and be ready for anything. But if you want more than a 9-to-5 job, if you want purpose, discipline, and direction, if you want to travel, get paid, earn benefits, and have a real plan for your future, then yes, the U.S. Army might be exactly what you're looking for. Now, to wrap all this up, at the age of 17 or 18, you have your whole life ahead of you. But the choices you make right now, they shape everything that comes next. And joining the Army right after high school, this can give you structure, benefits, confidence, and a launching pad for anything you want to do with your life. So talk to a recruiter, do your research, ask veterans, and if you decide it's for you, then go all in, because it won't be easy, but it will be worth it.